Again in this installment of Spiritual Wisdom. I'm grateful to all of you who follow me here, and I hope you're all doing well, and hope these videos are inspiring you, helping you in your spiritual path and life's journey as well. And if you're new here, hello and welcome. I hope you're doing well. My name is Nicholas, and on my channel I talk about witchcraft, Wicca, paganism, self-love, crystals and their magical properties, as well as plants and their magical properties, and all matter of philosophical and spiritual topics. So if you're interested in those types of things, you know what to do. Please click that subscribe button, become a member of this amazing community here, and click the bell icon to be notified each time I upload a new video. And if you like this content, please hit like, as it helps the channel a great deal. And this is a safe place if you're practicing witch, Wiccan, pagan, or whatever spiritual path you may be on, because there's no right or wrong spiritual path. And this is also a safe place if you're a member of the LGBT community, as I too am a member of the LGBT community. Now today's topic is always thinking before you act, how this is a key to wisdom. Now there are many keys to becoming wise. Now when it comes to being wise, we've all got inner wisdom, what is our intuition, and it takes time to know when your intuition is active, when it's telling you something, and it takes time to learn to trust that inner voice within you. But wisdom tends to come to people later on in life, where they've made mistakes, they've learned from those mistakes, they've been through betrayals, hardship. Some people, they're very young, they've learned a lot of things from a very young age. They may have been, we've all been here before, but some souls remember they've been here before and they're very wise, and some young people, I'll call them wise beyond their years as well. But the biggest key to becoming wise is thinking before you act. Now, many wise people, they listen to everyone, but they think for themselves and they think before they act. You know, because every action has got a reaction, so you've got to think. And when it comes to action, to take action is to move energy. And even speaking is, even choosing to speak is an action, because you're moving your mouth, you're moving energy. And when it comes to speaking, it could be, right, what you're about to say to this person is the God's honest truth. But is that truth, is this individual ready to hear that truth? And are they ready to hear this message? And should you break that truth to them gently? Or should you tell them it just the way it is because they need to hear it? Because sometimes what we need to hear is not always what we want to hear. For example, and it's thinking about that, the pros and cons. It's a heavy weight and a heavy burden, like to bear, but you have to think about it. Like if one of your best friends or a close friend of yours, you knew that their partner was cheating on them, rather that's their husband, rather that's just their partner, you knew they were cheating on them, you've seen it with your own eyes, maybe you've got evidence of them cheating. You do have two choices here. You could think, right, I'm going to keep this to myself because I don't want to upset my friend, I don't want to rock the boat here. Our friendship will still be good because they don't know what I know. But that's a foolish decision. That's a foolish choice. Whereas the sensible choice would be to go, right, I know that my friend's partner, husband is cheating on her. I've got evidence to prove this fact. And because we're good friends, I'm going to tell that friend what I know this out of respect for my friend. Because honesty is everything. And if you know that, but your friend's partner's cheating on them and you don't tell them anything, then when the truth does come out, because it'll always come out, you're the bad individual, and then that breaks a friendship. So it's always thinking before you act, and the sense of thinking about what you're going to say to someone and being truthful. Because if you want a healthy relationship to continue, to start with, you need trust But what builds trust is honesty, and you need to be 100% honest with each other. Another example I could give of thinking before you act would be, like, let's say you're a young teenager. Some of you will be young teenagers watching this. You've been there. You've got the t-shirt. Some of you right now, maybe you're going through this process where you're living with a parent, a guardian. Okay. You're living with a parent or guardian, and your parent or guardian loves you to the moon back. You love your parent or guardian. You might have to pay some dig money. You may not have to pay any money, but you were brought up in your family home. You're living with your mum, your dad, whoever it may be. You're living with them. You may be going to college, university, or right now you live at home with your parents. You may have a job, but you're just living with your parents. But maybe part of you is thinking about getting your own space, your own place, because you want that. You're thinking it and emotionally you desire it. But then you've got to weigh up the pros and cons. Like, right, these are the pros. Right now living with my mum, this is everything that's good about it. And then you've got to weigh, what are the cons of living with my mum or whoever your guardian is? What are the cons in this situation? And then you have to think before you jump, is it worth taking the risk for? And that's where wisdom comes in. Is it worth taking the risk for? Is it worth the risk? It's the same if you were, let's say you owned a ship and the ship was your home. Like you lived in a boat, and that boat was your home, and you were the captain of a ship, or the boat's your home. You would have to think about who you're letting onto your boat, because it's not sensible to let everyone onto your boat. Same, a program I'm watching right now with my partner, it's like One Piece. Some of you, if you're into anime, you'll know what One Piece is. If you're not, you can look it up. But it's the same idea. What I like about One Piece though is usually you see that with pirates are either, they're not just good or bad, they make pirates complex. Meaning, because I know in real life pirates are not nice or kind or anything like that. But I do like with One Piece, the creator of it, when it comes to pirates, they're not all bad. But they're not put in a box. Just like we as witches, society's always try to put us into a box. But you do see in some TV shows where it shows how we as witches were all diverse and complex. And One Piece, it shows that how we're all how all the pirates are different. You get pirates that are good, just, but they don't harm village. You get pirates like Luffy, the main character of the show. He might visit places for their food, for their culture, but he doesn't do any harm to the villages. And sometimes he defends the villages. Or if you would rather be Luffy's friend than his enemy, put it that way. But at the end of the day, you do see that in One Piece. But sometimes you would have captains of ships. They would have a big crew, but then they've not thought carefully about who they want to be part of their crew. And then somebody in their crew betrays them, So if you did own a pirate, if you were a pirate, for example, or you owned a ship, or you were the captain of a ship, you'd have to think about who you're letting on your ship, because not everyone would have good intentions. You'd have to think, before I open the door, who am I letting on here? And another example of thinking before you act is like, you see it in a lot of horror movies, TV shows. It's like your house, you shouldn't let every Tom, Dick and Harry into your house, but a lot of these younger teenagers do open the door to, they have a big house party, and it's like everyone's invited, bring your own drink, bring your, everyone come along for the ride. But there's a danger there, because after the party's all done and said, there'll be people, there's people usually drunk, the people sleep in your house, the house is a mess, items that belong to your parents have been stolen, and then you're in a heap of bother. But they deal with the consequences later. So it's always thinking, before you act, the pros and cons before you decide to do something in life. It's the same with another example I can give of thinking before you act is when it comes to food and drink. Like, we do need to eat as human beings, as spiritual beings having a human experience. We do need to eat because food is just energy, and we do have our own energy, and we can only survive a certain amount of time without food and drink. So we need to, through eating and drinking, we're replenishing our energy. But it's being mindful of what you're eating. Now, I think it's important in life to be healthy and to look after your health, because your health is your wealth. Because if you're not healthy, then when you're meeting up with friends or you're trying to do tasks that excite you, your health condition is going to get in the way. So it's important to look after your health and, to be mindful of the foods I'm eating. Are they going to benefit me? Are they going to fuel me throughout the day? If the beverages I'm eating, are they going to help me throughout the day? So it's thinking about that. And we all die regardless if you're healthy. If you do live a healthy lifestyle, chances are you're going to live a longer life. If you don't have a healthy lifestyle, chances are you're going to, the chances are, the probability is you're going to die a lot you're going to live a lot shorter. But regardless, we all die. But I think thinking before you eat and drink, it's going right. 9 times out of 10, I should eat healthily and drink healthy beverages that are good for me. That's what I try and do in my life, like eat foods that I know are good, are going to replenish me. I love herbal teas, so I drink a lot of like peppermint, green tea, and a lot of other teas because I know they've got health benefits and I enjoy them as well. And they've also got magical properties, and you can bless a herbal tea with intention and then consume that energy throughout your day as well. And it's a very beautiful and magical practice I like to do. But I also feel that it's also when it comes to in life, I think I know myself, I do believe in eating healthy and well, but I also think it's not healthy to take it to either extremes where you're only eating healthy stuff and stuff that's good for you, or you're only, and you're just going to eat junk food and fast drinks. I think it's important to have that balance. And even if you were vegan, for example, I used to be vegan, and veganism is not just a diet, it's a lifestyle. But it was a journey for me, and over time I just discovered, for me personally, the vegan journey was not for me over time. But there are many people that stick to it because they truly believe in it and it's their lifestyle, and I respect that. But my point being, you could be completely healthy, only eating plant-based and only eating a certain way. But also there's a lot of vegans, but occasionally they'll eat healthy and all that, will have the occasional junk food and all that. It's important to have the balance and thinking. Always thinking before you act. And the drink I'm drinking today, like cola, I know it's not good for me, but I think it's important in life to enjoy yourself and not deny yourself of things that bring you joy and happiness. I know cola's not going to be terrible for my mental health and well-being. If it was alcohol, it'd be a different story. But when it comes to alcohol, I'm not big in drink. I just drink it now and again. And this is also many people before they become spiritually awake. Many people before they become spiritually awake, or they change their life, they hit rock bottom, and it's through that period of rock bottom, they're really thinking about their life, what they've been doing with their life, and they're actually thinking, right, what I've been doing so far has been numbing the pain, it's been getting me through day to day, but it isn't actually, the way I'm living isn't healthy or beneficial. And a lot of people I speak to have done readings for, this is some people from AA, but I know I've got a good friend from AA, who did have, they were an alcoholic, but they did change their life around thanks to AA. But they thought when they were on the drink, well, this is the way to be. I'm living my best life, getting drunk every day and feeling and numbing that pain inside. But it wasn't, because they weren't really thinking of the pros and cons of the situation, what they were doing. They were just thinking, where am I going to get my next drink? And with addiction, it's like a cycle. You're not really thinking, you're just going round and round in a cycle. But it's only, this person went through a lot of hurdles before they even got to A, and they got the hard rock bottom, and they got to a point in their life where their mum and dad were worried about them, but it also got to a point in their life where they knew if they didn't stop, where they were going to die. So they actually had to think, right, I need to start taking steps and actions here to change. It's the same, some people, it could be drugs, but they're addicted to, but then they hit rock bottom with the drugs and they realise that the life they're living is not good, healthy or beneficial, and that the way they're living their life is not the way life's meant to be. And it's that minute when they hit rock bottom, they actually start to think about their life, where they start to have an epiphany. So thinking and thinking carefully, about your choices, your decisions and actions leads us to wisdom. Always think before you act about the pros and cons of a situation. And also, what I'm going to close this video with today is intelligence is knowing something. Wisdom is understanding what you know and when best to put what you know into practice as well. Just like an intelligent person would know it's important to brush your teeth twice a day, to floss properly, to go to, the dentist and get regular dentist appointments. A wise person knows this, but they also put it into practice, whereas the intelligent person might know, but they don't put it into practice, what they know. Whereas a wise person knows it, they know what it should be practiced every day and how important it is to look after your oral health, so they put it into practice as well. And also, another point I want to make before you act, because Goddess Athena energy is coming in, and I feel Goddess Athena, her energy is about me right now. So with Goddess Athena, the goddess of war and wisdom, it's the same with battle. Like in ancient times, if there was a battle, you would think before you go into battle. You'd have to have a strategy. You would have to think as your enemy does. You would have to outthink your enemy. And you'd have to go into battle with a strategy. And that's where wisdom comes in. Thinking before you get into the battlefield. Because if you've got no strategy, you're going in blind. And I really feel that's what Athena's saying as well. In life, you have to think what you're fighting for, what are you working for as well. What are you working for, what are you fighting for as well. And is it worth fighting for? Because if you just went into a battle without a plan, without a strategy, then you're going into the battlefield blind. And that's foolish behaviour. So that's the key to being wise in life, is always thinking before you act and then asking yourself, is it worth the risk? Okay. So that's my message for you today. As always, I hope this message brings you some comfort, but it brings you some peace. And as always, giving you food for thought, giving you the sage. Until next time, take care, look after yourself, walk your spiritual path with pride. If you're practicing much with me, stay with you. When you click this video, may wonderful and amazing blessings be upon you. So mote it be. May meet, may part, may meet again. Blessed be.